One of the biggest mistakes I see people making when they're in the gym is not actually training as hard as they need to be doing. I see people finishing sets leaving loads of reps left in the tank, meaning they could have done more or they could have lifted heavier. Now, if that's you, in this video, I'm about to show you how you can train more effectively and get more out of your workouts by actually doing a lot less. So I'm going to be doing a full body pull session today, and I'm going to be recording all of my sets so that I can show you how to train hard and effectively when you're training on your own. But you'll notice even on my first working set, that last rep was a little bit slower than my first rep.
And then you just head like round.
So that was a really good example just then. On rep 5, that was a lot slower, and then on rep 6, that was super slow. So there should be a difference in speed between your first rep and your last rep. And that's why I like giving out rep ranges as opposed to just saying you're going to do 4 sets of 10 reps. If you just have one number that you're just trying to hit, it doesn't give you a lot of wiggle room, it doesn't give you a lot of progression. If I say, right, this week you're going to hit 6 to 8 reps, you can choose the weight that's going to challenge you for 6 reps. Next week, you choose the same weight and you manage to do 7 reps, or you do 8 reps, you've made progress. And then the week after that, if 8 reps is then easy in your first set, you take the weight up, and now there's a clear model of progression. So a framework to remember then, use rep ranges, so 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. Always work to the bottom end of that rep range and try and use a weight that's going to challenge you for that bottom number. When we talk about failure, there's 2 different types of failure. There's technical failure, where the technique and the form of the movement breaks down. So you start doing one exercise and then you finish doing a completely different exercise essentially because the movement's changed. Or there's mechanical failure, where the target muscle has just been overloaded and worked so hard that that muscle group can't contract any further. So that was a good example of mechanical failure. I just physically couldn't pull in anymore. My hamstrings are absolutely fucking dead. But the form didn't change, I just stayed still and dug in with it. If you watch the first rep and the last rep side by side, what you see is the first rep, my upper body stays largely in one place. The second rep, my upper body comes all the way up. So it changes the dynamics of the movement. If you're looking at the movement going, I know what this should look like because I've seen the video, you're trying to make it look as close to that as possible every single time. When it starts looking different to that, not necessarily slower, but different, this set should probably end there because it's now a different exercise that you're doing. So a good question to ask yourself after every single set is how many more reps could I have done like that? And if the answer is more than 2, the next set either do more reps or add more weight. As you get deeper and deeper into the workout, it's less important that you stay away from technical failure. Obviously, technical failure is where injuries tend to happen. Everyone knows a guy who's hurt themselves doing like a deadlift, for example, and it's usually because they've gone really heavy and hit technical failure. As you get deeper into the workout, the exercises should get less complex, so you're doing less like compound exercises like deadlifts, squats, for example, bench presses, and you're doing exercises like that, biceps, where again you just dig in, have a fucking go, and if you fail kind of thing, and you squeeze 1 or 2 more reps out. But that's how you can ensure that you're training max effort every single session and you get more out of your workouts without having to do a shit ton of unnecessary volume.